Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing okay today. I actually made it through most of the day without getting spoiled by the State of Play and the Silent Hill stuff. Just a few little snippets here and there. Otherwise, I'm going into this without any spoiling. So hopefully it's a good one. I'm sure they're going to announce Bloodborne. That's going to be great. Bloodborne for the PC is going to be wonderful. Okay, probably not. But I can have hope. Hope. At least a remaster or something, man. Being stuck on the PS4 era hardware is just kind of frustrating. But all that said, hope everybody's been having a great day. I had an okay day. It was long, very tired, but I feel like getting sit back and chill for a couple hours, watch some video gamey stuff, and just kind of chilling. I think that'll be good therapy. And of course, the wonderful, wonderful Stellar Blade soundtrack. I really, really want them to upload more tracks to Spotify. I think so far there's only maybe let's see here. Yeah, they only have 8 songs. They have 8 songs, and most of them are from the early part of the game, from the demo, basically, not the actual full game. So, one of these days. There's so many great tracks. All right, so I say we jump right into this because I believe both of these events are a little over half an hour long. So you factor that in plus commentary. That's pretty much the entire stream. So let's not waste any time on news because we're going to be looking at the news. So let's see here. Flip on over. Stream Deck, please do your job. So I have the Stream Deck Neo. I like it, but the capacitive buttons could be a little bit more responsive. I do feel like maybe I should get another larger Stream Deck just for companionship's sake. Kind of help fill out some of the buttons and stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I just need a better setup where I can push the buttons more vigorously or harder or whatever the word you want to use. I don't know what it is. We'll figure it out. Anyways, let's flip on over, eh? Hey, it's me. It's me, Mario. All right. Anyways. So, okay. Do we want to do State of Play first, or do we want to do the Silent Hill? I say we do State of Play first. We'll knock that one out of the park. So, let's see. Oh, that's so loud. Gonna jump right out of here.
Hi everyone, I'm Asad Kizilbash, Head of Product at PlayStation Studios and Head of PlayStation Productions. I'm here to welcome one of the newest members of the PlayStation Studios family, Firewalk. This team brings together some of the most talented developers in our industry, with an incredible pedigree in the online multiplayer space. We announced their first game, Concord, last year, and today they're revealing gameplay captured in-engine on PS5. But
we're gonna
first,
see Concord, huh?
Here's an extended vignette introducing some of the cool characters you'll find in the Concord Galaxy. Enjoy.
I think this is the one that was announced at the last major one, wasn't it? With the weird, spaceship tour thing they did. Not actual gameplay. Of course.
Oh, boy. Oh, jukebox.
It wasn't the plan.
It was a spontaneous, creative decision made after years of careful research.
Being really old and almost dying a bunch doesn't count as research.
Almost dying is the best way to learn how not to die. Besides, it worked, didn't it?
How much longer for the upload?
A few more minutes. Hey, start time. Try it with hot sauce. You'll like it. Trust me.
No. Do not trust him.
Whoa. Where's this coming from?
It's coming from you back on the ship saying, trust me, we're professionals. We'll stick to the plan. We can do this. And
This
then,
feels fake.
that
Pursuing free gunner suspects now on the run, causing downtown.
That was not the plan.
Technically, it was a plan. It just wasn't the same plan that we started with.
If we don't leave with this blue button...
Amar, we will. We will.
I'll be waiting outside.
No one moves. We'll be taking this off your hands.
What? This?
Funny.
These guys are all terrible shots.
Slow them down a little for you. Meet at the rendezvous point.
Wait, what? Where's the rendezvous? I didn't catch that.
Copy that, Bill.
Well played.
Fine. They only got one of my legs.
How are those hands? How bad is
Oh
it?
no.
You're
This
still
is gonna
mad at me?
be like a Valorant or a Apex Legends type thing, isn't it?
Lennox!
Got him.
One off. This is you.
Got it.
I am developing a taste for destruction. Goodbye.
This would be a very dishonorable way for us all to die.
Don't worry. Nobody's dying dishonorably. And also, we're bringing this back with us. Hey, Mark. What are you doing?
Getting us to the rendezvous point.
Perhaps we should have let go also.
One off. Do not dare.
Well, we were supposed to stick together.
If you let go,
would
I
never leave me.
swear I will be.
Oh, look, there they are. Hi.
What the? I am glad you avoided a dishonorable death.
Almost dying is the best way to learn how not to die. Or something.
I knew this was gonna work.
This wasn't the plan.
No, it just wasn't the one we started with. All right. Another satisfied customer. Good
Somebody was
delivered.
very
I
inspired
sent
by Guardians
everyone
of the
their
Galaxy with this, weren't they?
So do you, like, carry it around with you for emergency bland situations or whatever?
Hey, Mara. Don't joke about something like this.
Our next job is somewhere with less scaffolding.
No scaffolding. Zero scaffolding. I promise. We were apart for so long. I thought I'd never feel your fiery embrace again.
You sound ridiculous.
Concord is a 5v5 first-person shooter set in the vibrant sci-fi universe of the Concord Galaxy. In Concord, from the moment you log on, you are part of the crew of the North Star, a group of guns for hire known in our galaxy as Free Gunners. Free Gunners are those lucky enough to be free to roam the stars. They take high-stake jobs on worlds across wild space, where they face other fiercely competitive Free Gunner crews. Here's the very first look at the gameplay of Concord.
Free gunning. It's hard work, but it's our work, and we don't take it for granted. Being a free gunner means, well, you're free.
Right on target. Yeah, you better run.
Free gunners have a shot at making something of themselves, a chance to be someone.
All right. Need a second to fix myself up.
This is immediately not interesting at all to me.
Why not?
And in the wilds, it's anyone's game. You won't survive on your own.
Target blinded.
Finally, to battle. Endless rage!
We risk our lives every day to do the job.
I'll clear the way.
I don't know why, but this feels like a bunch of different games mixed together.
This crew will go anywhere. Take any job. Face any enemy. We're the Free Gunner crew of the North Star. And together, we're going to make our mark on this galaxy.
Yeah, all I see is just Overwatch. I don't see anything actually that exciting here.
The crew is gathering. Would you like to join us for game night?
With Concord, we leaned on the strengths and background of our team to make a tight, well-balanced FPS that feels great to play. We focused a ton of our attention and our tech on building a strong gameplay foundation of tight core movement, precise visceral shooting, and expressive abilities.
We ended up finding ourselves influenced a lot by fighting games and even strategy games in the interesting way that the asymmetry of their characters makes every fight.
Yeah, but like all I'm seeing here, look, visually looks great, right? And not just visually, but like you could tell there's a whole theme going on here, right? It's a little bit Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a little bit Overwatch. There's a little Apex Legends going on here, a little bit of Valorant. But like all I'm seeing from the perspective of a player who goes, maybe this game would be something I'd like to play, is this looks like every hero shooter on the market. There's nothing here that I'm like, oh, okay, wow, that's an interesting take on the genre, right? Like, okay, yeah, maybe some of the heroes have some unique moves or something like that. Okay, fine, whatever. But like, I'm not seeing any interesting gameplay mechanics. I'm seeing 2 teams of 5 people trying to kill each other with guns that do things. It's basically Overwatch, right? Now, they're still going to talk for a little bit about how amazing their game is, so hopefully they show, like, maybe there's some interesting modes, or maybe there's some, you know, like, I don't know, what's the twist here? Because, like, a cool setting and art style helps sell your game, yeah, sure, but, like, this feels like somebody going, yeah, but we have Overwatch at home, right? Like, to me, a little bit, it just, it all feels very fake and very, like, produced. I do not, like, even though this game looks like it should be screaming originality, nothing about it feels original. Everything feels derivative of something else. It's a hard thing to, like, say in words, but, like, I think you can kind of just see the video of it playing and just being kind of like, yeah, I guess, you know? It's I don't know. It's just something's off, like something's missing. The secret sauce, right? So let's see how they babble more, but that's just kind of my impression so far, you know, especially with that cinematic at the beginning, you know, cool cinematic, like really well made and animated, but like the dialogue was kind of, it reminded me of those old E3s where like you'd have the people on stage pretending to be like a team of people, you know, and like, you know, oh, you know, like like it had that like, how do you do fellow gamers kind of feel to it, where like the team would all be on comms together at, you know, playing through a match as a demo on the E3 stage, and they'd be like, yeah, John, watch out for that guy like you did last week, ha ha ha, you know, like it was just so cheesy, and that's how this felt. The dialogue just felt very unnatural. So I don't know.
Every matchup feel really different.
Leaning into the asymmetry of the characters, really pushing the possibility space of 2 different characters colliding. It's all about creating opportunities for improvisation. That's where we can get out of the way and let players find their own magic. We also have abilities that are meant to have impact beyond direct combat. deployable gear that can persist throughout a full game, so whether that's multiple rounds of a mode or multiple respawns across a match. There are healing pads, bullet-blocking domes, explosive traps, lane-blocking walls, all kinds of ways to support your team or disrupt your enemies. Coordinated teams can set up and plan ahead, and depending on where and when it happens, players can shift the battlefield to their advantage.
We've got everything
But I'm
from
not
mystics
seeing
and
that in the
medics
video
to
he's talking about.
gunslingers and sparked robots. Every character brings their own unique personality, skills, and wide-ranging perspectives to the crew. Every week, when you log into Concord, you will be welcomed with a new cinematic vignette that will give you a chance to see our characters off the job. They will feature ongoing narrative arcs that grow the characters' stories and relationships and unpack the broader Concord galaxy.
Okay, now that part's cool. It's not gameplay related, to be honest, but it's cool because that's doing the thing that Overwatch never did. Like, Overwatch had the cinematics and it would have the occasional, like, look at the hero type of thing. But for the most part, people have been screaming for Overwatch to be more story focused for years. That was the whole thing about Overwatch 2, was that the reason why they needed to not focus on Overwatch 1 and pivot to an Overwatch 2 type experience is because they were going to embrace the story of the game, the PvE story mode type stuff. Not just like, to get, like, they didn't want to dump PvP, but they were like, it's time, this is what we're going to do, right? That's why Overwatch 2 became such a mess, because at the end of the day, they didn't do any of that. The game feels like a lesser version of Overwatch 1 instead of being a greater version. It does not deserve the two. But when the game first came out, when Overwatch was first introduced, there was that original cinematic with Tracer and Winston in the little museum area with the two little kids, right? And the kids are like, oh, wow, as these superheroes are fighting the villains at the time, which I think it was like Widow and... who was the other one? The Grim Reaper guy. Anyways, I can't remember his name right now. But the point is like, I remember watching that, and it had that like Disney Pixar style feel to it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be huge, right? Overwatch is going to be just this, like, it's going to be the start of Blizzard being Disney. Because, like, Blizzard's cinematic teams have always been amazing. Like, easily some of the best in the industry, arguably the best in the industry. When Blizzard wants to make an actual cinematic, when they put all their actual effort into it, they make incredible cinematics. And to be able to expand on that and turn that into a franchise of heroes and villains and characters and stories, that was the promise of Overwatch, right? And it never really came to fruition, despite people begging and pleading, and being like, Blizzard, you're dropping the ball at every opportunity. This could be so big for you. And Blizzard fucked off, honestly, for whatever reason. Among many false, bad, horrible things they've done, World of Warcraft, honestly, the Warcraft universe, the StarCraft universe, Diablo, one of the best things about Diablo 4 is not the game. It's the Lorath cinematics that explain the history of Sanctuary. Like that whole little sequence that they did, each of those videos, yeah, it's just some dude with a deep, raspy voice talking about the game. But it's done in a very compelling way. It doesn't have flashy giant cinematics like these, but it doesn't need to. It's good storytelling. When Blizzard wants to, they're really good at it. So the fact that it wasn't an Overwatch, that's a huge thing for this game, because honestly, it's one of the things you don't really see with all these hero shooters. Like Apex Legends, it has some lore, but like nobody out there is thinking to themselves, oh yeah, Apex Legends, that game has amazing characters. Nobody thinks that. Right? So this right here could be the thing that sets this apart from others, is that, yeah, the gameplay maybe isn't the most original, and the characters kind of maybe look like Guardians of the Galaxy ripoffs, but if they're well-developed, well-realized characters, people will have more of a attachment to them, and they'll have favorites, right? And it will ultimately end up something like a Imagine a Marvel game, right? You know, everybody wants to be Spider-Man. Why? Because Spider-Man's got all the cool shit. Why has he got the cool shit? Because he's got history of many, many years of this character being developed, and you're like, oh yeah. Not just the character that looks cool from the pose they make on the character select screen, but also because you can be like, this character is just cool because, right, a whole lineage of like plot and character development. And yeah, this could be the on-ramp to something being a lot more interesting and compelling than what we're watching so far with a 5v5 shooter. So that's my take on all that.
Why are you kissing a tchotchke?
We're excited to share that we'll be hosting a
good
pre-launch beta in July, followed by Concord's global launch
on
August
PC.
23rd, 2024.
That's coming pretty soon. All right. I'll definitely be interested in trying out the beta. I'm not going to pre-order. Beta early access for you and your friends. No, I'm not doing any of that. Alright. What's next, Tony?
You seem like a calm and reasonable person. Are you?
God of War PC version, huh?
Reasonable person.
You don't really want war, do you, Kratos?
War is coming. The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok.
You will die, Kratos of Sparta.
Death can have me when it earns me.
Odin's got tricks up his sleeve we haven't dared to consider.
We have guests! They're too fast! Look out!
Fate only binds
There's a DLC for this?
Do what is necessary. Not because it is written.
Yeah, there's going to be so many games. I'm okay. I got to pause real quick. So let's talk about God of War for a sec. As much as I really like the story of the new God of War games, I am not interested in playing them because every streamer I've ever watched playing this game, it's very exciting at first, and then you quickly realize how much of a slog all the gameplay is. Getting through all the little puzzles and just all of the slow moments. The narrative of the game's absolutely fantastic. I do not think that the moment-to-moment gameplay of like you beating a bad guy and stuff, pretty cool, but like all of the mechanics, all of the just like string of things in the game, I just feel like the experience is going to go from like these amazing highs of awesome cinematics, and then after that, nothing. Like it's just, I feel like it's going to be a very long, drawn out experience. And honestly, that plate's kind of full on a lot of that stuff. So, besides, as much as they're boasting about all these things that you can do on your PC with God of War Ragnarok, the problem I have with that is that like you ain't getting that kind of performance with. I mean, God of War Ragnarok is already a very good looking game. You know, like you're not getting 60 plus frames per second on anything that is. I mean, maybe a high end 30, like you could maybe a 3070 might be able to do it on lower. I know that PC is going to offer better potential down the road for better looking graphics on God of War, but like currently, I mean, look, I have a 4070 Super, and I still have games that just don't. Yeah, I just can't see it. So cool that it's there. I'm glad it's making its way to PC, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, yeah. Last of Us is kind of like that too. Last of Us 1 and 2. You know, I I have that like urge to play them, you know, like I won't lie, I have an urge to play the God of War games, you know, but I just can't see myself doing it because, yeah, again, the narrative, like, this is kind of an issue I've been running into with games a lot over the last, probably say almost a decade now. Not quite a decade, but it's definitely something like it started just before COVID, like a year or two before COVID. I started having this feeling with gaming where I'm just like, the cinematic elements of games have only gotten better and better, right? And so when you're watching games these days and you get to a cutscene, that cutscene is like movie quality, right? But even like the narrative of the games themselves, it's becoming more and more like a movie, right? And that's not always a good thing, but we'll just say for the sake of argument, it's entertaining, right? There's a story, it's video game plot story, so don't expect Oscar-winning writing, but like it's interesting enough, especially with the settings that games can have. You want to at least see through the end. It's one of the reasons I actually like a lot of games that are like God of War and Last of Us, you know, because to me it's like going through a book, right? And every time you finish a level or anything, it's like a chapter. Like, you know, back in the day, you know, you get a PS1 game and it was RPG or whatever, and you knew the moment you saw that it had like 3 or 4 discs that you were in for, you know, one heck of a thing, right? You get to the end of disc 1 and it'd be like, please insert disc 2. And at the end of every disc, it'd always be like this big climactic thing, you know, that would make you absolutely want to put in the next disc right away. And that kind of like was how games used to be. You know, you'd get the gameplay would be really fun and everything, and then you'd get to the ultimate reward of going through all of those trials and tribulations in a game would be these really cool cinematics, right? You know, Square was really good at this. You know, if anybody remembers the old original FF7, a lot of times, you know, you would go through a whole area and your reward would be, you know, maybe a boss fight or whatever, but it would ultimately be this really cool cinematic type thing that would happen, you know, full motion video or whatever, right? So, yeah, but the thing is like now it's like games that are so padded out, you know. I mean, Final Fantasy VII is a long game, don't get me wrong, but it's not really that long, all things considered. I want to say Final Fantasy VII is like about 40 hours long, maybe even less if you know what you're doing. I know you can speed run it in like 15 hours or whatever, right? It's still a long game. I'm not gonna say it's not, but compared to like modern games where they can go past 40 pretty easily, Final Fantasy VII doesn't always really feel like it's wasting your time. The only thing about it that you could say that would be the actual mechanics of its era, you know, the turn-based waiting for things to happen type of things. Nowadays, you know, there's all sorts of options to speed up the battles and you go get through them all super fast. But like, I guess the speed of the battles would be kind of the one major thing, right? That people would say makes the game feel slow. But nowadays, games don't have all that. They have all, like Ghostwire Tokyo I'm playing right now. This is a really good example of this problem. You know, there is just so much crap. Like, it's not a streamlined game at all. You know, they want you to be exploring this really cool, you know, Tokyo area, right? But the problem with Ghostwire Tokyo is that there's nothing in the world by design, right? All these people have been spirited away. So you have spirits that kind of are everywhere that you capture. Okay, fine. There's a couple of spirits that you talk to for your side missions. They're not really memorable for the most part. You know, and then that's it. You have cats and dogs and the ghost monsters that you have to defeat. That's it, right? Your cast of characters is really, so far in the game at least, the guy that's possessing you, and you hear from some of the people that he worked with, and there's only one actual character that you're currently working with that he knows, right? And your character don't know anybody except for your sister, who has been taken away by the bad guys. And you've probably spent more time talking to the bad guys than you have anybody else in the game. So, yeah, it's, you know, but then you look at the gameplay itself, the moment-to-moment gameplay, and it's fun and everything, don't get me wrong, but you're basically just waving around gang signs, and 99% of what you're doing is shooting the same basic attack over and over again. So the novelty is great at first, right? A whole new world to explore and things to do and see. But then the hours set in, and you realize that this is basically what you're going to be doing all the way till you finish through the narratives, right? So this is kind of what's become a problem with games now, is that they're so loaded with stuff because nobody wants to spend $60 for a short experience, right? They want to, quote unquote, feel like they got their money's worth. So the games are all padded out with all sorts of things to do and meters to fill and progress bars and, you know, unlockables and all that kind of stuff, right? And then to keep the money rolling in, all these games are designed to have all this extra content that gets added in through the cash shop, DLC, blah, 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 right? So games have become very bloated. And that's kind of what I felt when I saw God of War Ragnarok. I saw a very, very, very well-made game, looked and sounded and played amazing, but the novelty wears off when you're about 10 hours into the game and you're looking at how much of the game you have left just to see the rest of the story, right? And at a certain point, you're just kind of like, do I actually care enough? Or should I just go to YouTube or click on a Twitch stream and just get the cliff notes, right? So that's how I've been feeling more and more about games. World of Warcraft to me was kind of the big reason why I even got down that path again. Because I used to play tons of games that were like that, you know, way back in the 90s, right? And into the early 2000s. But when World of Warcraft kicked in, you know, I started originally playing EverQuest, but when I jumped over to World of Warcraft, I was very engrossed in like the quests and the story and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, as each expansion would come out, I would realize how less and less Blizzard actually cared about any of that. To the point where by the time we got to Shadowlands, it was just a goddamn mess and a travesty. And now they do seem to be trying again. Okay, great. But I've become very disillusioned because the gameplay suffered so much that the only thing that was keeping me in the game was my excitement for every new cinematic and story bit that the patches would produce. And then at a certain point, that just wasn't enough anymore. You know, like, it wasn't enough because, like, okay, you see the raid cinematic. Done. That's the patch. Right? It's like, oh, in patch 10.1, the bad guy escaped from the prison. Oh, no. Right? Patch 10.2 is announced. There's a cinematic for that about what they're going to do. They're going to go catch the bad guy. Okay, fine. And then you get to the end, the raid cinematic of 10.2. Oh, no, we got the bad guy, but now there's a bigger bad guy. Right? Like, this is kind of what Blizzard's storytelling has turned into. So, yeah, there's that. And then, of course, people will complain because when Blizzard does do the moment-to-moment stuff and it doesn't match up with their expectations, they start complaining about, like, oh, Anduin, he's so sad, he should get over it, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, Saurfang mopes around. It's cool. So, anyways, the point is like, yeah, it's a bit of a burnout from really long games that have really cool stories, but the variety of gameplay, it just doesn't match up to the story it's trying to tell. And this is actually why I really liked Stellar Blade, because even though the story isn't really that amazing, like in terms of like how well it's told, it's really terribly told, to be honest. It does a really good job of establishing the story, right? Like, I know what the story of Stellar Blade is because I played the game, right? But I mean, like, but in the sense of like, the story tells you everything. You know, there was a guy named Raphael Marx. Raphael Marx created Mother Sphere. Mother Sphere decided to make better humans, did a good job at it, right? And made them too good. And the humans kind of started to get replaced. They didn't like that. There was a war. Mother Sphere basically won it. The humans that were surviving went underground, decided that they were going to go the genetic route instead of the machine route, and kind of fucked themselves over by creating the Naytiba. The Naytiba started taking over everything like a virus. Next thing you know, oops, everything's Naytiba. And they all start pouring out of the holes. Anyways, they all start pouring out, taking over the android stuff. And the androids start losing. The androids get pushed back to the colonies in space. Mother Sphere goes, you know what? Nuclear option. Drops half the fucking colony on the planet. End of story. Right? Your character comes in, starts wiping out Naytibas left and right because they're looking for the big bad super ultimate Naytiba. And, you know, she finds him. Turns out, oops, he's really not all that bad of a guy. He just kind of fucked up and wanted to fix his mistakes. Okay? You know, like blah, 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 right? All of this is in the story. And yeah, there's some cool cutscenes about this occasionally. But a lot of the story is just breadcrumbs and the mission structure. In a way, very much like Super Metroid, right? So, why does it matter then for Stellar Blade? Because Stellar Blade's content was short, sweet, and to the point when it came to variety. You only have there's only 5 major areas in the game. They're broken down a little bit into some sub-levels, but there's only 5 major areas in the game. And you can travel back and forth between most of them. But for the most part, there's only 2 areas that are they're open world. They're not truly open world. They're, I would say, semi-open. Because at the end of the day, it's just one big space. And then it's kind of segmented into areas that you're probably going to go back and forth again, a few times, right? Otherwise, everything is fairly linear. But the structure of the game never really gives you that impression that you're constricted. So it's a very tightly concise, packed experience of constant things that are different to do. You're going to go to this level and you're going to do these things, and it's going to be a new experience or interesting experience every time. It ain't perfect. Some levels are not as good as others, but you never feel like it's a slog that you have to oh my gosh, when is this going to end? You never feel that. You never feel that. I think me personally, I felt that maybe once, and that was that stupid factory area just before the orbital station, which nobody likes. Apparently, it's like the worst part of the game in most people's minds. So, yeah, compare that to say like Last of Us or God of War, where you're 20, 25 hours in, and it feels like the game's just never ending. Doesn't matter how many cool experiences it throws at you at that point in terms of narrative, if the gameplay's not there to keep it fresh and interesting. So, yeah. All right, let's see what this game is.
Soldiers and officials alike oppress the people for personal gain, and the people must turn to thievery for food.
This looks like a Koei Tecmo game.
Perhaps this is heaven's way of lamenting the state of the land. Men are powerless at the feet of the divine.
Dynasty Warriors?
But even so, someone must act.
Wow. Oh yeah. This has to be Dynasty Warriors. Ooh. Coming 2025. All right. Hey, at least that was actually gameplay and not
Momo,
just a CGI trailer.
I think I was dreaming.
But look cool.
It wasn't a dream. We were really transported to Mirrorland.
Wow.
The path of a stylist is never easy. So, are you ready for it?
What's with like this Mario music? I feel like I'm gonna go Mario Odyssey. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. Bum, ba, bum. I don't know why my model is just melting out. You know what? This is cool. A lot of grown men are rolling their eyes right now, but Infinity Nikki.
Is it you who pursues infinity? Or is infinity awaiting you?
Star. Okay. I'm gonna say this right now. I was cute and adorable. And even if it looks like it's aimed towards women and young girls, it doesn't look terrible. And I'm glad it exists. We always bitch about how like every game's the same these days and developers have no imagination. That game looks like it's trying something different. So I'm going to give it credit for that. It looked interesting. Would I play it? I don't know. It looks like an open world type game. But, fix my thing here. Give me a second to fix my, or try to fix my webcam. Hello. There we go. Hey, I exist. Okay. But yeah, so I'll definitely give it kudos for that. It looks interesting.
Shields. I have seen the miracles you so claim.
Tips works.
Until the towering shadows vanished into the mist.
What is this?
I pray for their grace, but all that came were inferior shades.
Why do we have to bear the consequences of such power?
Time. War. Mortality. These essences shall not fall into your treacherous hands.
What is this? This looks cool.
Wayward emissaries, grant us the forgotten miracles. Rain fire from above. This desolate land needs a sprinkle of madness.
Remember, no matter what happens, we did not betray this world.
Ballad of Antara. 2025 again. Damn it! Really? Stop announcing stuff so far ahead. You know what I get the impression of so far? That the Sony is not going to have anything for the game presentation in Summer Games Fest. That game looked really cool, though. I just wish they would tell you more than just a little teaser. PlayStation VR 2, Skydance's Behemoth. Alright.
I thought I could be a hero and break the curse. But I was a fool.
Was this really
There's
good?
no hope here.
Damn it, camera!
And the gods that walk among us thirst for death.
I think I'm gonna have to buy a new webcam.
Outsider! Your head is mine!
The poison in my veins begs me to kill.
I'll put you in the ground! The power of our god is immeasurable!
Thought I could be a hero. But heroes don't survive the Forsaken Lands.
Because half his face cut off.
Only monsters do.
What's this one? Yo, aliens? I mean,
Hi everyone, I'm Sean Benson. I'm back on State of Play to introduce more exciting titles coming to PlayStation. Starting.
Okay. Real quick about the VR thing. 2 problems with VR. First one is it's really hard to sell VR because the best reason to have VR is the VR effect, right? Which you cannot see in a video like you're watching, right? So it kind of defeats the purpose to show all these cool VR games when it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. That said, you can tell that VR games are starting to look a lot better. Like these last 2 games, they look good. They're not like, Hellblade 2 amazing, right? Or anything like that. But they're much more effective than you'd think, especially when you're playing the games with the VR helmet on. Or VR headset on. But PlayStation VR 2 is still pretty expensive. It's like $500-600 I think. It's a really big ask to get somebody to spend $400 to $500 for a PlayStation 5, and then another $500 we'll just say, for the PlayStation VR 2. That's $1,000. That's a lot of money. So I know PlayStation VR 2 hasn't really taken off the way Sony had hoped, but it's a very expensive accessory. Especially when you consider that the Oculus, you can get the Oculus 2 for less than $200 now. And it's like 80% of the way there for a lot of people, right? The old, what do they call that? The Fresnel lenses. They're not really that great, to be honest. I had an Oculus 2 for a bit. Honestly, it started giving me headaches after a while. The pancake lenses that they use on the MetaQuest 3, big improvement, especially with the field of view. It's much wider. But the PlayStation 2 VR or PlayStation 5 VR, the VR 2, it has OLED. And I'm a big believer in OLED. Like my main screen is an OLED screen. Like the quality of the colors, the contrast, the black, it really, really helps. So I'm hoping that Sony will find ways to get the VR2 down in price a little bit, because I think that there's a big untapped potential with VR games. I know they can be kind of gimmicky, but there is a level of immersion in VR that's really hard to replicate, like as an experience. And there's some exclusive VR stuff. Like, for example, Resident Evil 7 VR, you can kind of do it on the PC. There's some mods, but it's not quite the same as like the official support. And, the experience is like half like Alex on the PC. They'd be great to have on the PS5. So, there's definitely like some room there for, a true VR experience. Obviously VR itself is still not perfect. The headsets are heavy and you get hot and sweaty. You get headaches sometimes if you're not used to tech. All that kind of stuff. You're still strapped with wires and cables. But it's not as bad as it used to be. And the tech is getting better all the time. So, yeah, those games look cool. Not enough to make me run out and spend $500 for a VR2, but they definitely look cool. So I appreciate that there's at least still a little bit of effort from Sony to try and make this work.
With a highly anticipated PvP shooter, playable soon on PS5.
Is this that Marvel Overwatch clone? Yep.
All realities converge here. Destiny awaits. Stronger together. Hell unleashed!
cannot believe how much like Overwatch this looks. Like I complained about Concord being like an Overwatch, like, you know, like the mixed Overwatch. This game just straight up rips off of Overwatch. Like the HUD design. I mean, like, look at this. Look at this HUD on the bottoms here. Tell me that does not look like somebody just ripped it right out of Overwatch. Come on. But even like the way the game looks, the, you know, like the moment to moment stuff, it all looks exactly like Overwatch. It's kind of funny. That's cool. That's definitely not an Overwatch. It probably should be.
I'm back, baby. 3, 2, 1, blast off!
Okay, that move right there was ripped right off of, oh my gosh, what is his name? The Grim Reaper guy from Overwatch. Oh my gosh, why can't I remember his name? What is, okay, like, this is driving me nuts here. What is that stupid... Okay, we have to do this. What is the name of the Overwatch guy? Overwatch guy, what is it? Overwatch guy. Let's see here. Overwatch 2. Reaper. That's what it was. Reaper.
Turns are jumping up. Gonna get sticky. Feel the wrath of the goddess.
Oh, that's Storm voice.
Okay, let's see how mankind has conquered space.
Is that a female Galactus? I just can't. Not anymore. Not with those kind of games. I mean, it looks cool. Where Winds Meet. 2025. Yep, in development for PS5. Doesn't even have a year. It's just, we're just working on it. I mean, it look cool, but who knows what it is.
Friends and fans. I'm super excited to welcome all my pals back to the annual Blackwood Winter Getaway.
Oh, nice one.
You
Oh, it's just the Until Dawn
You're going down. Oh.
remake or remaster or whatever.
It means so much to me that we're all still here together.
Fight the break of
I feel like someone's watching us.
There's no one out there.
Let's make this one trip we will never forget.
Mike, Emily?
I do want to play through this one again. It's been a long time. I wonder if there's anything new.
It's horrible.
I don't want to make hasty decisions that get everyone killed. We should stay put right here until dawn.
Oh, she said the thing.
You can't let me die!
Coming to PS5 and PC fall 2024. Alright. Sweet. I'll play it on PC. Grinding Gear Games. Cool logo.
Ogum was once a peaceful land, but each day descends further into madness. Famine and plague besiege us. The very earth is being poisoned. The Count's men, once our protectors, have turned on us. And now they come for me.
Oh, yes, get out here!
Okay, so we have like a Diablo game.
I must be the one to face this nightmare.
No noose this time. I'll remove your head myself!
But I need not do it alone.
Co-op! Crossplay, okay. Path of Exile 2. Early access late 2024. Okay. I haven't been paying much attention to Path of Exile 2 news lately. I remember seeing the reveal last year and it looked pretty damn cool. And I know there's been a couple of development videos since then. Because I know I've seen Asmongold watching at least one of them like a month ago or whatever. I mean, Path of Exile seems to be the better Diablo game these days. It is a bit heavy on the systems. I don't know how Path of Exile 2 is going to handle that. Might double down on it for all I know. But yeah, I mean, it definitely was really cool from what I saw of it. So I'll have to look into this more as the sorry, I'll have to look into this more as the year goes. But yeah, I'm interested for sure. Diablo 4 I bounced off of pretty hard. I was really, like, when I got into the betas and everything, I remember talking about this last year, you know, when I was playing the betas, like, the game was very, very interesting, and the story, unfortunately, never really went anywhere, because, you know, forever game, but the mood and the atmosphere, they really nailed. The gameplay felt problematic. And it ended up becoming exactly what I feared. I've heard that the patches have helped improve the game a lot, but it's over a year later now, and I don't think anybody at this point can justify the mess that Diablo 4 launched as, and how much they were asking for, and how much they still want for things in the game. So, but it has found its audience, and it will be successful enough for Blizzard. But I just, for me personally, I would love to have a Diablo gameplay experience, with a cool RPG story. I love the campaigns of Diablo. I'm not a big fan of Diablo as a, loot grinding game. It just doesn't have the same appeal to me. So, would Path of Exile fit that bill? Probably not. It's probably going to be a loot grinding game, because that's how the first one was. So, but we'll see. Maybe Path of Exile 2. I mean, you add 2 to something, it's automatically the expectation that they're going to do some cool things with it. So, we'll see. I will say I really like the logo. Wait, how far are we into this? So we are 27 minutes into a 35-minute video. This is all we've had for teasers so far? I can't say I'm impressed. There's some good announcements here, but I can't say I'm like, you know, I don't know. Was this necessary?
Excuse me.
Oh, that is Silent Hill
sorry.
too.
I was just... It's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost. I'm looking for Silent Hill.
I think you should stay away.
Okay. I don't know if I want to watch this here because... Watch the Silent Hill transmission on the official Silent Hill YouTube immediately following Sony State Play. I don't want to watch this trailer yet. I'm going to skip it. And we're going to go to the next game. Because we're going to watch the Silent Hill transmission right after this anyway. So, may as well, right? Come on.
Gameplay trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds.
Alright, thanks, lady. Wait, Monster Hunter Wilds?
As soon as we find a good spot, we can get things set up and ready to go. And then we can get started.
This is gonna be great.
You bet.
That lip syncing didn't match at all.
I hope we find them soon.
Incredible.
Wow.
I've never heard of a Karatnoth herd this big before. One of them's got big spikes on its back.
Now to lead it away from the pack. We'll make for the desert.
Right.
Wow, that was cool.
Sandstorm. Now commencing the hunt by order of the guild.
You throw the corpse at him?
I've selected you as a lead hunter for this expedition.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, gotta do the Breath of the Wild thing there. 2025. Good lord. I mean, it looked really cool though. Team Asobi. Oh, this is gonna be Astrobot, isn't it? No! Astrobot! Yes! Oh my god. It's got the music. Oh my god, Parappa the Rapper. How is this music hitting so hard? This is awesome! That is an immediate purchase from me. I am buying that game.
Be sure to visit PlayStation Blog for more on the games you just saw, as well as PlayStation.com for the latest on Days of Play. This global celebration runs through June 12th, with deals on PlayStation Store, great new content coming to PlayStation Plus, and much more.
So we had Astrobot and Concord, the Until Dawn remake, and God of War on PC. That's all this year. Silent Hill 2 this year. And then we had Monster Hunter Wilds and Dinosaur Origins was next year. And then we had these ones for next year. Well, this is the VR ones. Are we both up?
PlayStation.
I mean, okay, so overall review of the State of Play, I would give it a B. It's not terrible. There was some very interesting gameplay reveals. And obviously Astrobot, to me personally, is a 10 out of 10. Mwah, chef's kiss. The built-in game that comes with the PS5 is just awesome fun. You know, as somebody who really likes Mario style games, like Astrobot, just it's perfect. And Sony really needs more games like Astrobot. You know, not exactly like it, but like the PlayStation brand was built on a wide variety of games. They weren't all critical hits, big sellers, but it used to be like, okay, PlayStation, you got, you know, Sly Cooper, you got Jak and Daxter, you got Ratchet and Clank, you know, you got Wipeout, you got Destruction Derby, you have Jet Moto, you've got, you know what I mean, and so on and so forth, right? Like they had franchises up the wazoo. And they always had these really weird, quirky ones too, like Parappa the Rapper, Ape Escape, you know, just go down the list. Ico, Shadow of the Colossus. They were not afraid to put their weight behind games that may not be critical successes, but would ultimately help enhance the PlayStation brand. And they have fallen away from that a lot post PS3 era. You know, so I'm hoping that this is a sign of them kind of like maybe putting their foot back in the water a little bit and trying to build out those games that maybe didn't, you know, like Astrobot's not going to sell like crazy, but it could. Sony just has to take that chance. So that's my thought on that. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, some interesting reveals, but a lot of cross-platform stuff. And ultimately, I don't know. If this is just kind of like a teaser and they're going to have a bigger announcement stuff next month, sure. But like, I noticed a lot of these titles were 2025. Again, games take too long to come out now. There's a lot of games that come out every year, but like the general life cycle of games is not good right now. Like your development cycle of games, I should say. You know, you shouldn't have a game that takes an entire console generation just to make one game. And that's at current pacing. So, you know, you see these studios, they announce a game and then you don't hear anything from them until they announce their next game, which is conveniently around the time that the next console's starting to do its thing. The PlayStation 5 is roughly halfway through its life cycle at this point. Doesn't feel like it, but it is. You know, and we have yet to see a lot of the major games that PlayStation Studios stuff was doing on, you know, from like the PS4. So it's a shame. We really need to go back to, you know, maybe don't focus on the graphic fidelity as much. You know, maybe kind of work a little bit more on art style instead or whatever, but like scale back your ambitions a little bit so that you can get games out faster. Because games people can play is more important than games that people, you know, that you want them to hype to be played. And to be honest, getting games out without the massive giant development budgets is a good thing, because one of the problems with free-to-play games or like with the gaming industry right now, and it's something that, like, I mean, if you want console generations in the future, you have to think about who the future is that's playing the games now, right? And the thing is like, when you look at the top-selling games or the top used games or whatever, like, you know, like, what are people playing on their platforms? And for the last decade, at least, it's been dominated by the same, like, 6 games, right? 5 or 6 games. It's Minecraft, it's Roblox, it's Fortnite, right? That's it. Like, people pretty much are sticking to just, like, 1 or 2 games. You know, it's like, imagine if the only thing people bought on any console was just Call of Duty, Madden, and FIFA, right? Though they kind of used to. But, like, the variety of gaming that people claim they say they want, you know, is not matching up with the reality that people are basically playing like the same 1 or 2 games, and that's it, right? So it's like, I don't know. I mean, like, if you're looking at the future of the console industry, and you're thinking to yourself, like, man, I wish they'd get away from all these things that are trying to drain money on my bank account. And then you look at, like, well, why are they doing that? And it's like, yeah, it's lucrative, but also because, like, people ain't moving on anyway. You know, everybody's stuck on Fortnite. You know, so Fortnite's still new to them. You know, they're making lots of money. And the young kids, they get into this shit. Like, where I work, there's always some parents buying their kids a, you know, Fortnite card or whatever, right? Like, these kids get their parents to spend a lot of money in these games. You know, they're free to play to get into, but man, they're costing their parents a lot of money. But these kids, that's what they play, because that's easier to access than asking your parents to buy a $500 PlayStation, you know, or $1,000 PC. And don't get me wrong, kids want those things, and many kids get those things. But, like, you know, at least in America, we got the money for that shit. But, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's definitely an issue, I think. So overall, good. I liked it, but I think it could have been better with maybe some cooler announcements. Astrobot was really the only announcement where I'm like, oh shit, dog, we're doing this. So otherwise, yeah, I mean, I would say the VR Aliens thing was very intriguing, mostly because I played Alien Isolation last year and it was a great experience. Definitely had the pacing issues I've been talking about tonight, but when it came to, like, does it deliver the whole aliens are fucking terrifying thing? Yes, absolutely it did. As a matter of fact, almost too much, and I had to tone it down. I had to get mods to get the alien to back the fuck off for a bit. But, like, other than that, I mean, yeah. The ability for the alien to constantly be a threat, absolutely. The vibe of the game is just great. You're tickling your toes, dear Lord. That is some flexibility. It's crazy. So, anyways, so that was the state of play. Like I said, I give it a B. Was it great? Was it good? No. You're having surgery for 4 wisdom teeth taken out. Good lord. I only have to have 1 removed at some point in the future. But 4? Oh. You're going to be a lot of painkillers for a while at least. Hope you get the really good ones that zoot the hell out of you. When's that going to happen? Tomorrow? Or are you doing it right now? Is it like literally right now? Because that would be crazy. Today in the morning. Well, best of luck. It's 3 a.m. It's about that right now for me. It's 3:28. Well, like I said, best of luck. Make sure that you get plenty of painkillers. Oh, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Are they gonna... Okay, they're gonna numb you a bit. Okay. Okay, so they're not gonna knock you out or nothing? You're just gonna have to sit through it? Because, let's see. I have, I had about 3 months worth of dental work earlier this year for fillings. I was terrified. I had never gotten fillings before. It's like a patch where you numb your hand. Oh, interesting. Okay. Man, they just numbed the inside of my mouth a little bit and then went to work. It's a very weird feeling. Let's see. So they're at least giving you some sedation, though. That's good. Oh, man. Spooky, though. I agree. Anytime I have to do any kind of a major doctor thing. But they take good care of you. Yep, I had that. Yeah, they for me they did it on a little Q-tip. They swabbed on the inside of my mouth, the spot where they were gonna put it in. You've never really had surgery. It's the first time you're scared. Okay, I'll give you a story of mine. So, a couple of years ago, I had a really, really bad case of appendicitis, and I didn't realize how bad it actually was until after the surgery, and the doctor came in and told me the results of the biopsy, and all that kind of stuff. I had gone into the ER because I wasn't feeling well and my stomach hurt a little bit. I wasn't thinking, oh my gosh, I have appendicitis. I thought I had maybe the stomach flu or something, right? So he, oh, thanks for following. So the doctor, I get all the exam results back in the ER. Doctor comes in, he puts his hand in my belly, he pushes in, he's like, "Does that hurt?" And I'm like, "Nah, it doesn't hurt at all." And right as I'm saying that, he lets go, and your belly springs back up, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" It was agonizing amount of pain. He starts laughing, and I'm like, "Why are you laughing?" He's like, "You have appendicitis," and I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh no," because I know what appendicitis means, right? They gotta do surgery. You don't get pills, and I'm like, "Don't you have those appendicitis pills?" He's like, "Yeah, we could probably give them to you, but you'll just be back really soon." Do I know what your mom said to you? No, I don't. I'm sorry. What did she say? She's probably like, "Walk it off." What? What a thing to say. What the hell? Were you like, where did that come from? Oh man. I bet that took your mind off your teeth for a moment though. Oh man. Oh, it made me chuckle. Yeah, I remember they had me all ready to go. I'm in the gown, I'm on the bed, And they wheel me over to the spot where they're getting the surgery prep. And they had a nurse come over. And the nurse is like, I'm just going to give you this to kind of calm your nerves a little bit. We'll be starting the surgery soon. So just going to make sure that you're nice and settled. And I said, okay, yeah, not a problem. Just let me know when you guys are going to actually put me under, because I want to be able to count backwards like they do in the movies. And she's like, oh yeah, we'll absolutely do that. And then I woke up because my surgery was over. I was so mad. I was like, I wanted to count back so bad. But the actual experience, the surgery, only took them like an hour. And I don't remember any of it. And looking back on it, I'm kind of glad they knocked me out, because I'm really bad with that kind of thing. But the painkillers that they give you when you go through surgeries, anything serious, they're usually really good. The post-care of what you have to deal with is honestly more annoying than the actual procedures themselves. Like, yeah, you're going to be in that chair, and they're going to be pounding away at your teeth, trying to get them all out. But the part that's really going to be annoying is actually not the surgery. It's keeping all your stuff clean so it heals properly, because that takes a bit of time. So as long as you follow the doctor's orders, make sure you get your painkillers right away, I think you'll be okay. Yeah, I can understand it's going to be on your mind and you're going to think about it a lot. But it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. I have the same issue. I tend to overthink and I get a lot of anxiety about things like that. But what I've kind of learned to do is just push through it and do it anyway, because it's going to be over one way or another. If you wait too much longer, then it gets worse. That's not good. But it's one day for a couple hours. You'll be home before you know it, the next day, and so on. Yeah. If you ever have a kid, you're going to name them Knee Crack. Why? Do I want to know? Because everyone might call them ass crack by accident. I mean, you know, they might do that anyway, just for the fun of it. Boom. Silent Hill. So, I think we should skip ahead a bunch because, yeah, wow. There we go. 10 minutes of this. Phobia of needles? That's fair. I'm not a big fan of people poking things at me either. But what I do is I close my eyes and I look away and I think of something else. Generally works. I just blank it out. If I don't see the needle, and I'm not anticipating it too much that way, because, you know, when you see it, the closer it gets to you, the more you're like, yeah. Oh, I'm definitely watching this video. I skipped the Silent Hill 2 trailer in the state of play specifically so that I could watch it in this. So, yeah, we're definitely going to be doing this one. Are you a big Silent Hill fan? Like, what kind of games do you like to play? Did you watch the state of play? I'm kind of curious what you thought. Like, did you like it? Aw, yeah. Silent Hill Fiddle. Parkour fails? Ah. We're just be
皆
doing
さん
these
こんに
videos.
ちは。サイレントヒルの情報をお伝えする番組サイレントヒルトランスミッションへようこそ。サイレントヒルシリーズのプロデューサーを務める岡本元井です。前回は多くのタイトルの最新情報を一気にお届けしましたが、今回はサイレントヒル2についての情報にフォーカスした第2回目のサイレントヒルトランスミッションとなります。ぜひ最後まで配信をご覧ください。先ほどプレイステーションの配信番組でもサイレントヒル2の新たなトレーラーが公開されましたが、それとはまた別のゲームプレイ映像をご覧いただきたいと思います。それではこちらをどうぞ。
All right. What we got? It looks like Silent Hill 2.
Our special place. What could she mean? This whole town was our special place.
You promised you'd take me there again someday. But you never did.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said Mary. Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago. Is she really alive?
Looks like screen space reflections.
Wait.
Why? Huh? Interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Where are you, Mary?
the way he's walking around, it's... If you're reading this leave, this place is not what it seems. There's another side to it. Hidden behind a rest, thin as paper, sometimes just here to look around. Oh, sometimes you just here to look around. Sometimes you just here to look behind.
What you got there?
None of your business. You didn't love Mary anyway.
What? Hey, wait! How do you know her name?
Where did she go?
I don't know. Let's look around.
This place feels so empty. More than the other places we've been.
I kind of like this so far. It's not Silent Hill 2, the way that I remember it, but
There.
Laura! Wait!
It's okay. We don't want to hurt you.
God damn it. Now, where is that girl?
it does feel like they worked on the combat. Keep seeing all the spots he could be checking for stuff.
Laura, why do you keep running away from me? And how do you know about Mary?
Mary's my friend. We met at the hospital last year.
Stop lying. Laura, I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
Fine! Don't believe me! See if I care!
Hey!
Let go!
I'm sorry, Laura, but I can't let you just run around this place. You might get hurt.
Hurt by what?
Look, just stay with me, okay? This is no place for a kid.
Fine. But there's something I gotta get.
Laura,
It's important.
what is it?
A letter. For Mary.
What?
I hid it. In there.
You sure this is where you left it?
It's in the back. Behind an old pipe.
Okay, wait here. Open the door, Laura.
Why should I? I'm a liar, right? Want me to open it? Huh? Do ya?
Let me out of here, you little brat.
In your dreams, fart face.
Please open the door. There's something in here.
Sure there is. A big lying fart face. See a fart face?
Laura! Laura!
I kind of liked what I saw. I think that was a big improvement over October 8th, 2024. Perfect Halloween
皆さ
title.
んいかがでしたでしょうか。真のサイコロジカルホラーであり、シリーズ最高傑作として評されたサイレントヒル2のストーリーはそのままに、本作ではよりその世界観に没頭できるようにゲームデザインやユーザー体験を強化しています。そしてすでに発表いたしました通り、発売日は10月8日です。こちらはプレイステーション5と Steam でリリースされます。またプレイステーションストアと Steam にて本日から予約の受付を開始しています。これからご紹介する事前予約特典などもご確認いただきアクセスしてみてください。 ではここからは商品ラインナップのご紹介です。本作のスタンダードエディションを事前予約していただくことで特典としてミラのマスクがつきます。そしてプレイステーション5限定でロビー・ザ・ラビットのマスクも入手可能です、続いてはデラックスエディションのご紹介です。デラックスエディションにはサイレントヒル2の世界観をより楽しんでいただくためのデジタルアートブック、サウンドトラック、そしてピラミッドヘッドのマスクが含まれます。アートブックはコンセプトアーティストの伊藤正弘さんがデザインしたクリーチャーのほか、登場するキャラクターやさまざまなロケーションのコンセプトアートが130枚以上収録されています。またサウンドトラックは今回も原作と同じように山岡明さんが手掛けており、原作の楽曲のアレンジ版のほか新曲も収録されています。どちらもシリーズファンの方には満足いただけるコンテンツになっていますので楽しみにしていただければと思います。そしてデラックスエディションも事前予約していただくことで特典としてミラのマスクとプレイステーション5限定でロビー・ザ・ラビットのマスクが入手可能です。さらに特別な特典としていち早くサイレントヒル2を楽しんでいただくことができる48時間の先行アクセス券をプレゼントいたします。こちらの一覧表で各エディションの特典をご確認ください。サイレントヒル2をより早く体験でき世界観を丸ごと楽しんでいただけるデラックスエディションの事前予約がおすすめです。皆様ぜひご予約の上発売をお待ちください。さて、コナミとゲームの開発会社であるブルーバーチームがタッグを組んでお送りするサイレントヒル2ですが、ブルーバーチームのスタッフからメッセージ映像を受け取っています。こちらをご覧ください。
I'm very excited for people to play this game. There's no one aspect that I could say that I want people to experience because I want people to experience all of it. It's such a journey. It's such a big part of our lives, and I just want people to be able to see it.
I think the biggest challenge that we've had was actually how to make the game approachable for the newcomers who have not played the original, but at the same time to still retain the familiarity of the game that player remembers from 20 years ago.
Our goal from the very beginning was to maintain the game's atmosphere while modernizing the gameplay to make it competitive in 2024.
In the remake, the story remains largely the same. However, with the magic of modern technology, we were able to expand on some of its aspects.
The hardest was designing combat. We want to be as faithful as possible to the original game, but also we want players to feel satisfaction while playing, remembering that we need to fit in horror genre standards.
So they basically just add a little bit of RE4 to it.
So when making a game with static cameras, you as a designer have much more control over what players sees, where they go, and so on. The change for the third-person perspective was a challenge. That being said, it's a chance for us to expand this world, to show the players new elements that were previously inaccessible, and just make this game richer.
So the main thing that requires rethinking was the fog, because it was called classic in the original game, and it's a veil that covers the world and makes the player to feel even more isolated.
New technologies gives us a chance to do things that were not possible during the earlier generations of video games. For narrative, this is very visible in facial expressions. We can tell so much through just the subtle changes on characters' faces.
The presented gameplay footage shows a fragment of the city from the beginning of the game and sections in Brookhaven Hospital. The fight against monsters is prepared in a more tactical form, and it's mainly based on the varied designs of the enemies. James is not used to fighting, so his arsenal of attacks is limited. Adapting your approach to the situation will be the key to success. However, your playing style, among other things, determines what ending you will discover.
本当にサイレントヒル2を大好きな人たちがこのリメイクに関わっています。 細部までこだわって作っていますのでご期待ください。さらにゲームの中でジェームス役、メアリーとマリア役を演じてくれたキャストのインタビューも届いています。こちらもご覧ください。
So I'm Luke Roberts, and I'm playing James Sunderland in the remake of Silent Hill 2.
My name is Salome Gunnarsdottir, and I play Mary/Maria.
When you're playing an iconic character such as James Sunderland, you obviously have to respect the original.
When playing these characters in this game, the thing that I paid most attention to was the original game.
So he is not an action hero by any means. He is just a guy who is a little lost at the top of this game, and in a sense of he is to a greater extent in a bewildered state. So it's very interesting charting his journey.
This one, we're trying to honor something that's already been made. And so it's not me creating something, it's me channeling something.
The tone of this game is very important, and the team at Bloober were very keen to create an incredible atmosphere for the gamers.
I do believe that this will be trying its very best to capture and recapture the atmosphere, the vibe, and the story, and sometimes like the literal words and moments of the original.
本作では俳優の表情と演技をパフォーマンスキャプチャーすることで心理描写を強化していますので、ぜひ期待していただければと思います。ゲームについての情報はここまでとなります。続いては映画「リターン・トゥ・サイレント・ヒル」の最新情報が届いております。ご覧ください。
And a movie trailer.
I came to adapt Silent Hill 2 with respect and passion. It's an act of passion for me. I consider that the four first games are a masterpiece, very modern and very transgressive piece of art. The second game is the most adult of all the Silent Hill. It's a story of James Sunderland. He has lost his beloved bride, and he decided to go back to Silent Hill to find her. And he realized that basically the town has changed. It became something like a hell, his own hell, and he's going through all this circle of hell to find her back and find also somewhere a truth about himself. This film had an emotional level to the horror, and certainly because of that, the horror is even more disturbing, even more unsettling. I consider that the first film was like an epic journey for horror. This one is much more like a deep dive into the psychological horror. On the first film, production design of Silent Hill was the big thing. I remember that all my energy was on it. And on this one, I had the great surprise to realize that the people who were going to help me on the production design, but also on the makeup, but also on the costume, but also on every level of the film, I had in front of me very young technicians who knew the game, the film, and loved them. The level of enthusiasm that I met on this film to create that strange world of Silent Hill was quite unexpected. I was thinking to myself, okay, I will have to explain a lot this film to my crew. And in fact, no, I didn't have to, because there was the 2.0 generation of Silent Hill lovers, and that helped me a lot. And I think that the level of design on this film is so high because it's made by people who knew the film and the game. So that's very gratifying and very emotional somewhere.
Christoph is really faithful and respectful to Silent Hill, and that's why Konami has always been really supportive.
We are working on their property, and we are working on their, let's say, the world treasure. I kept one of the main ideas of the first film, which is that all the creatures are played by dancers and acrobats. If the first film has not aged badly, it's because the creatures were actually in front of the actor on the set. So all the monsters on this film are played by real persons with physical gift. They have created a level of strangeness and harmony.
It's gotta be surreal to
into
see that kind of
monstrosity
stuff
of
when
these
you're
things,
not
which
seeing all the
I
special
think,
effects.
Is actually very disturbing. Akira Yamaoka is not only the composer of the first 4 original games of the franchise, he was also the producer and the director of the game. So Akira Yamaoka, through his music, has given to the game more than just the sound. He gave the soul of the game. And I have a great knowledge about soundtrack, but I don't know any other music which could be like the one of Silent Hill. Yes, Akira Yamaoka is on this film. That's very important for me, because I'm working on his creation. I never forgot that. It's exactly like adapting a great book. It's important to show respect and humility into this process.
いかがでしたでしょうか。映画の完成が楽しみになりますね。
I mean, I never hated any of the Silent Hill films.
もう一つのサイレントヒル
They're not bad.
ゲームと映画をぜひ
The
とも
first,
両
the
方
first
体
one
験
was
してみて
better,
くだ
but
さい
like, I mean, they're all
続いて
okay,
は
I guess.
サイレントヒルシリーズの最新グッズ情報
Can't be any
をご
worse
覧
than
くだ
Resident
さ
Evil
い
movies.
最初にご紹介するのはサイレントヒル2のグッズです。まずはグッドスマイルカンパニーの商品です。
We're gonna
リメイク
speed
の
through
サ
this
イ
a
レント
little
ヒル
bit.
2よりシリーズ屈指の人気クリーチャーレッドピラミッドシングがネンドロイドになって登場です。オプションパーツとして付属する大型と槍を付け替えてお楽しみいただけるが実際の商品となって登
Get
場し
some
ます。
coins,
ご紹
stickers.
続いてプレイステーション5で無料配信中のサイレントヒルザ・ショートメッセージのご紹介です。現在までにグローバルで250万以上のダウンロードをいただいており、これまでのサイレントヒルシリーズのテーマを踏襲し
I thought
つ
this
つ
was actually a cool little
現代
demo.
に生きる人々へのメッセージを盛り込んだ短編作品です。これまでのサイレントヒルシリーズから独立した作品として遊んでいただけますので、ぜひプレイしてみてください。
Sorry,
そ
I'd
し
gone.
てそのサイレントヒルザ・ショートメッセージからも魅力的なグッズが登場いたします。月光より桜ヘッド6分の1スケールスタチューがただいま予約受付中です。
This
コ
boss
ン
is
セプトアー
creepy.
ティスト伊藤正宏氏の完全監修を経てサイレントヒルシリーズを手掛けてきた
Soundtrack.
サービスで配信中です。
Alright, final message from the guy.
皆さんいかがでしたでしょうか。サイレントヒルシリーズの世界観を表現したグッズをぜひお買い求めください。それでは最後に本日ここまで皆さんにお届けしてきた中での一番のトピックスをもう一度。サイレントヒル2は10月8日発売。そして本日から予約開始となっております。ぜひ皆さんこの配信の後にチェックをお願いします。本日はようやくサイレントヒル2の新しい情報をお届けすることができて嬉しく思っています。
Look at that smile.
ぜひ発売まで楽しみにしていただければと思います。またこのサイレントヒルトランスミッションでは今後も継続してサイレントヒルシリーズの情報を皆さんにお届けしてまいります。続報を楽しみにしていてください。本日はご視聴いただきありがとうございました。
Alright. That was it. Well, I mean, I guess we'll give some final thoughts on this, huh? All right. Click out of those. Okay. All right. So, final thoughts on all that. Well, I can't say that I'm excited about Silent Hill 2 remake. I mean, I definitely would like to play it, but I was never as hung up on Silent Hill as like you have Silent Hill 2 fans, you have Resident Evil fans. I liked Resident Evil more than Silent Hill 2. But that said, I mean, like, Silent Hill is like a whole thing to me. Like when I think Silent Hill, I think late 90s, early 2000s. Just the general vibe of the moment, you know? The way the music sounded and just the surrealness of it, the experience. You know, today, does Silent Hill 2 have that same feel to me? Not as much as I remember. But that said, I think it's because of the change in perspective. Fixed camera horror gaming seems to be just dying. It's a shame too, because like I know people don't like the awkward controls, but it's a whole package, you know, a whole thing. So I don't know. I think they're capturing the vibe of Silent Hill 2, but I guess it just remains to be seen how Bloober Team messes it up. Their track record with horror titles is not the best. They definitely nail the horror atmosphere. It's all the details, like Layers of Fear. It's interesting at first. It just kind of gets dumb after a bit. You know, what was the one the one that was on Xbox Game Pass? You know, where she like The Medium. That's what it was. The Medium. You know, it was an interesting concept having the two worlds side by side and all that. But the game itself is like, it's okay. Also a little weird towards the end. I think the best one that I've seen from Bloober Team is honestly was Observer, which isn't really a horror game per se. But just the design of it and the narrative and stuff on it was a lot more interesting. So I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think I'm gonna be in for it in October. You know, for one, it's the perfect Halloween game, let's be honest. But for another, well, one, I don't really see how much, like, I'd be surprised if there's anything else coming out this year. I mean, Nintendo will probably blow my mind with something, but like, generally speaking, there's almost nothing that's coming out right now that I can see being bigger than Silent Hill 2 in October. You know, it's a horror movie or horror month. You know, like it's just everything just lines up for that kind of thing. If you're releasing a horror game in October and you're competing against Silent Hill 2, I just wonder what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, between that and the state of play, I mean, I'm happy for the future gaming. There's a lot of problems with it, but I mean, you can kind of see, even when it's mediocre announcements, you can see that like developers are trying. You know, like we bitch about all the bull crap. Like God of War Ragnarok on PC is going to have a PlayStation account required, just because, you know, Sony really wants those monthly active user numbers. You know, is it a big deal for somebody who has access to PSN? Not really. Just make an account real quick, you're done. But if you don't have PSN, you can't play it in any of the countries that you should normally be able to play a game like that. You can play the first God of War in any country. It's not restricted for sale. But because now the PlayStation account is attached to it, the second one will be. So if you live in a country where you can't legally have a PlayStation account, you're kind of screwed, which isn't really fair. It's the same problem that Helldivers had, and it seems like they're willing to, you know, Sony's willing to kind of not give a crap about, you know, potential lost sales in order to get the metrics. And like many things that happen in the world, time is on the side of Sony. People will bitch and moan, but they'll lose interest, move on to the next thing, and Sony will just keep doing what Sony does. So, kind of a shame, but it is what it is. So there is definitely some crappy sides of the industry. But, you know, from a consumer perspective of, you know, are there interesting games to be looking forward to? I mean, absolutely. I absolutely think that's the case. So, yeah. So that takes care of those two. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. So we're at 2020. That's 2023. I'm on 2024. Okay. Hey, did we miss the Marvelous Showcase? We did. Look at that. All right, so this is the website I was talking about. It's called Games Recap. So 2024.gamesrecap.io. There's one for 2023 and so on. But they update it every year. This is the new one. So if you click here, you can see the various things for the schedules. And when they're live, you can actually go to this website and click the links to take you to where it's at. So the next one we got coming up is June 4th. We'll have the Indie Games Summer Showcase 2024, the Otiki Games Expo. Those are the times for them. Then it looks like June 6th, June 7th. So we're coming up on a lot of stuff real soon here. So I suppose let's see what these trailers are, huh? Let's see here. Pharmagia. That's dev news to be announced. So we have dev news. What's the dev news here?
昨年のマーベラスゲームショーケースではプロジェクトマギアとしてご紹介した本作正式タイトルがファーマギアに決定しました。
Okay, they're just announcing it. Story of Seasons, yeah. Bow, Path of Teal Lotus.
ボーと月夜の青い花。ちっちゃな主人公ボーがさまざまな妖怪たちが住む世界あやかしの国を大冒険。空中で敵やオブジェクトを攻撃することで何度も連続してジャンプすることができる浮遊アクションを駆使してステージを縦横無尽。
Yeah, it didn't look that amazing. Death the Guitar.
デス・ザ・ギター。2023年のビットサミットで大賞を受賞した本作。主人公はなんとエレキギター。持ち主を殺した人間たちに復讐するため音と電気で戦います。ギターの音でアンプを鳴らしジャンプ。床に電気を流してギミックを作動。ヘビーでハイゲインなギターサウンドで戦おう。ポップ&バイオレンスな 2D。
It could be fun. Moonlight Peaks.
ムーンライトピークス。月の光に照らされたミステリアスな魔法の街。
That's another farming game. Rune Factory, yep. The farming sim. And a new Deus Ex Machina? See how good this one is. That is it. I don't know if that's a says to be announced action game. So okay, yeah, wow, woo. That showed me nothing. I'm gonna guess it's probably well, I mean, it's got to be either like a content patch, which I mean. A content patch for Deus. I mean, the Deus Ex Machina came out a while ago. I played it last year. It's actually a fun game. It's very shallow in some parts. You can definitely tell it's limited by the hardware it was originally intended for, which is the Switch. But even the concept itself, like design, it's kind of basic. But like, there's something there. There's a potential for it to be like more of an Armored Core style franchise. So, I'm not expecting it to be on that level, but like it would be interesting to see another mech action game. You know, so it's nice to see they haven't abandoned the IP. I think that's kind of about it. We watched all these trailers already. Oh yeah, we watched Space Marine. Is this the features reveal and the multiplayer? Yep, we watched that. So Space Marine 2 comes out, I want to say like September, and you better damn well believe I'm playing that game. The first one was amazing. So, yeah, very fun to play. So if the sequel is slightly better and with better graphics, I'm already on board. So, yeah, for sure going to be worth it. So, all right. Well, I think we're going to wrap the stream up. I just really wanted to talk about that stuff, and we'll be resuming Ghostwire Tokyo next stream. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. I might take tomorrow off just to have a break. Since I've been streaming quite a few days now. Yeah, but maybe we'll see. It depends on how I feel after work tomorrow. The later I get in the week with work, the harder it is on my body, the more tired I am, and the less energy I have to stream. But I suppose with Ghostwire, one of the nice things about playing games like this is that with the side questing, you kind of can settle into a bit of a cozy experience. So that might be where we're going with that. If I feel at least well enough to, sit up and stream for a bit, but if not, I'll just maybe take a day or two off, just kind of nurse my back a little bit and, get some rest. So, but either way, thanks for tuning in today, everybody. And, thank you for the follow. I really do appreciate it. Poplamenti. I really hope your wisdom teeth extraction goes well. Try not to worry about it too much. It'll be over before you know it. So yeah, take care. Have fun, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.